Here in the UK or in Zone 8, we are really good at growing our soft fruits, whether it is our blackberries, our red currants, our white currants, our black currants. But something that people often seem to be surprised about on my allotment is outside here, I'm also growing these, and these are my grapes. Now I am in the East Midlands in the UK, and actually just about 10 miles down the road from here we do actually have a vineyard, which of course means that everything is outside. Now these grapevines are grafted, which means that they have a different root system that has actually had the grapevines grafted into it, and that means that they will grow here in the UK. Now the problem that I have is that my fruit cage isn't quite big enough, so these are open to the elements, or more specifically these are open to birds. Now I had my first fruit from these last year. They've been in the ground for about 6 years, and I was really excited until the birds came along and pinched them before I could get into them. So something that I need to really do, because they are outside of the fruit cage, is I'm going to use these little nets. Now these little bags can be bought in any of the supermarkets in the UK. If you go to the fruit and veg aisle, they are recycled from plastics and they are reusable. And all I'm going to do to stop the birds getting to them is I'm actually going to cover them up with this netting, which means they have enough light to still get to them and ripen beautifully. Now something else I have an issue with, and it is where I've tried to espalier, and I've done this with just about all of my climbing and vining fruit bushes. Now what I've done is I actually have posts in the ground, and they've been in the ground for 6 years, and I'll be honest, I actually got my posts recycled from a farmer as well, so these posts are quite old. Now I know that they need replacing because they are wood, and what's happened this year is they have actually rotted. So these have been falling over, and that's an issue when you've got things which are vining, because it can actually pull them over. They end up on the ground, and obviously those snails and slugs think it's absolutely party time. So it's quite difficult at the moment because the vines are full, but I know at the end of this season I'm going to have to replace these. Now they have broken off, so I can really, if they're not too rotten, this one's pretty bad all the way through, I can actually saw them off and use them elsewhere. But something else I know with my grapevines is that they are extremely tall. So when I replace these ones, I'm probably going to have to go for poles which are about 8 or 9 foot in height, because I've got to remember that I'm going to be digging them into the ground. Now this isn't an issue with these posts. They have been treated, so this is actually their purpose, this is their job. But ultimately they are wood, and after a certain amount of time they will actually rot. So if you have posts in the ground, check them out before next season and you've got lots of amazing glorious fruit growing, and see if you do need to replace your posts, just to make sure that all your beautiful fruit, including maybe your grapes, we have to think that our environment is changing. We can actually grow more exciting fruit outside and possibly replace them so that your fruit will be safe.